It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. Get over to Joe's today. Do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing at the metro area's fastest indoor karting facility.
There we go.
Woo.
And if you are serious about it and you do end up liking it, they do have leagues and everything available to where it's an organized race setup where you're going to race every week, for, I think they run those, 10, 12, 14 weeks, something like that.
Yep.
So,
and the cool thing is Joe's Karting offering, and Quaker Steak and Lube have partnered together. If you go to Joe's Karting and do some racing, take your race receipt over to Quaker Steak and Lube and you'll get 10% off of your bill. I know a couple of people took advantage of that last night when they went over to Joe's Karting, did a little bit of racing, and they came over to the Chili Bowl. So a lot of cool stuff you can do. You can do that again any day of the week, or if you're coming to one of our events, swing over to the Daytona 500 party coming up February 17th at Quaker Steak and Lube. You can go do some racing at Joe's Karting that Sunday morning, swing over to Quaker Steak and Lube, watch the Daytona 500, and then might as well just go back and do some more racing.
Yeah, you're going to need to do the racing. Everybody, by the time that Daytona party comes around, everybody's jonesing.
Yeah. You want to keep it going. We got to start off today's show with a little bit of condolences. We had some sad news amongst one of our sponsors and great friends and former racer and a great supporter of the racing community.
Correct. Everybody at the track knows Rick Havenridge, and he's also the sponsor of our all our fantasy contests and crewman for the day and all that stuff for us. So a good partner for the show. I've known him a long time, but just remarried a little over a year ago, but his new mother-in-law passed away here this last week, so obviously our thoughts and prayers are going out to Rick and his wife Patsy and her family at this time. Condolences
out to Rick and Patsy and their entire family as they're going through a tough time. If you happen to know Rick, please send him a message of love and support. I know he would greatly appreciate it. All right, coming up on today's show, Trevor Grossenbacher is going to join us in turn number 2. He's got a big announcement as far as his plans for 2019. And then Sport Mod driver Mary Lenz won Most Popular Sport Mod Driver of the Year at Eagle Raceway. She won the award and only raced like 5 or 6 races at Eagle before her car was destroyed in a pretty rough accident. So we're going to talk to Mary about her 2018 and her plans for 2019.
Just think how popular she'd have been if she'd have raced all year.
No kidding. Then in turn 4, we're going to announce the season-long contest presented by Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners. I've got a surprise for you. If you've been a part of the contest in the past, it's not much different. But if you haven't been, now's your time to get in on it. It's really easy. We're going to break down everything coming up in turn number 4. In the meantime, let's go through a couple of the news and notes. There has been a lot that has happened in the world of NASCAR since we last spoke, including late last week after we had recorded the show, the news broke that NASCAR had announced they had laid off several employees. They did not give an official number, but an unofficial spokesperson for NASCAR stated on anonymity purposes that it was less than 5% of their current workload, which most news sources were able to put that in about 30 or 40 employees area.
Well, the 2 articles I read, and talking to a now former employee, he said it was in the 50 to 100 bracket. I mean, my old roommate Ken, you've met him.
We've talked to him several times at Kansas and Iowa. Great guy.
Yeah, he's no longer with NASCAR. And another guy that he traveled with quite a bit, because Ken's out of Phoenix, Steve Wheats, who was out west somewhere. I think he was in California. And if you're going to lay off people, the ones you're going to pay the most to travel are obviously probably people in there.
Right.
But the articles I'm reading and from what I'm hearing from the people that were let go is a lot of this is to make the bottom line look a lot better because they're trying to acquire ISC, which we all knew about, and they're still for sale, even though they were for sale, but we'll buy ARCA, we'll buy ISC, and then we'll see if we're even more I think more worth something on the sale.
Yeah, to that line, I think they're adding to their portfolio. When they originally opened this up and said, would anybody interested? People are like, you're a sanctioning body. Well, now they're a sanctioning body that owns several different touring series. If they can add the ISC to their portfolio, now they own racetracks, and I'm a huge fan of that because then they can make some serious decisions as far as the schedule is concerned. But I think that's secondary as far as what you and I are both reading with these things, is that this is definitely a move to bolster and to make them look a little bit more desirable for somebody that would want to come in and purchase it, which, to my understanding, there are several people that are in conversations with the France family to purchase the organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, if you make your bottom line look better, you're going to be, like you use the term, desirable. But somebody's not going to buy it to dismantle it. They're going to buy it to try and come back to what it was 15 years ago and be making some money.
More news out of the NASCAR world after the layoffs. Really sad news came out of Joe Gibbs Racing that co-founder and son of Joe Gibbs Racing, JD Gibbs, passed away after a long illness with a neurological
disorder.
Disease. I could not find exactly what it was, but JD had been battling this for a long time. It started, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago, and he was forced to step away from everyday operations at Joe Gibbs Racing a few years back, and he passed away. So tough news for a lot of people in the racing world.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd met JD because he used to race in the truck series back with him and his brother Coy both used to, and of course Coy works in the family business now too. But JD really brought the team from the 2-car team that it was up to a full 4-car team and handling the day-to-day operations. But he was always at the track every week, and even when he's been fighting this battle, he's still been making some races. It was some neurological disease that evidently there was no cure for type deal, and nothing they could operate on, and it took a good man. Yeah,
absolutely. He was a huge instrument in the success of Joe Gibbs Racing. Iowa native Joey Gase has joined MBM Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. He's going to be driving the number 35 in the Xfinity Series full-time, and it sounds like he'll also be picking up a couple of Cup Series rides here and there.
Yep. I mean, it's good to see a local boy, have his chance. The other local star from Iowa, the Truck Series current champion, was able to get back on board. So, all those guys from Iowa are staying busy and staying in rides.
Yeah, and Landon Castle's got a new crew chief over at Starcom Racing, and they have a guaranteed full-time ride. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, them officially purchasing the charter from Richard Childress Racing. Ryan Truex is going to be driving for Tommy Baldwin Racing at the Daytona 500, which you can watch at Quaker Steak and Lube on February 17th, free of charge. Come down, grab yourself a beer. It's no charge to get in and watch the race. We're going to throw it up and enjoy the entire race weekend. That entire race at Quaker Steak and Lube, just like we did last night for the Chili Bowl. That wraps up a lot of the news and notes that we've got over the last couple of weeks. There was one of them I wanted to touch on while we've got a little bit more time left in the show, the Brett Moffitt thing. I was really interested to find out through later news sources. Johnny Sauter was pretty vocal that this was not a mutual decision between him and GMS Racing, that they basically sat down with him. He was pulled into an office, and they said, hey, unfortunately, we've decided to go a different direction, and we're going to release you from your ride. And just about an hour after that, he found out Brett Moffitt had secured the ride. So it really feels to me, Brett was released from his ride due to lack of sponsorship ability, due to lack of being able to bring a sponsor to the table. So I don't think it was money that got Brett Moffitt the ride. I think it was the championship with what he had to do. Or what he had to win the championship.
It's easier for GMS to market the current champion as it was to, hey, well, we've got Johnny Sauter, who finished 3rd or 4th wherever he finished that night. I don't remember. I mean, he was in the Final Four. I mean, that's just kind of a no-brainer to be able to offer that to the sponsors you have.
Yeah, so it could be a little bit of marketing. You're absolutely right that they could go to a younger company and say, hey, we've got a young guy who is hot right now, and we want to put him in victory lane with you on the side of the truck.
Yeah, well, I was saying it might also been the sponsor that said, look, we'll come in and we'll sponsor half these races. That guy's not driving. We want him as our driver.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it for us in news and notes in turn number 1. Like we mentioned just a little bit ago, Trevor Grossenbacher still to come in turn 2. Mary Lenz, Sport Mod driver, still to come in turn number 3. And we'll make the announcement for the season-long Pick'ems contest coming up in turn number 4. We'll be back on the front stretch.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 2, and it's time to have another local dirt track conversation brought to you by Red Oak Fabrication, offering powder coating at an affordable price. Get your chassis powder coated for just $275 for a bare frame. If you have to have any reworking done or sandblasting, it can be a little bit more because there's a little bit more labor intensive. Just give Jordan a call today for an estimate, 712-623-4911, or you can email him jordanf at redoakfabrication.com. Speaking with Trevor Grossenbacher, a guy who has got a couple of new cars, are they all done and ready to go, or do you need some powder coating done still?
Oh, they're powder coated. We just got a few things to do to them yet, but we're getting close. Just got to spend a few nights on them and get them ready to go and get them lettered up for the season.
All right. Well, you had a start to a good season last year, but consecutive accidents, I believe they were back-to-back weekends, shut you down for the rest of the year, and one of them that was pretty scary. Yeah,
we started the year off real good. I mean, kind of typical for me. We've always had good starts to the year, and something happens to kind of derail our run. So, but no, we had some good nights. We went and won, and we went down to Cameron, Missouri, and we won down there on a Friday and come home, and we raced Saturday. And just one of them nights. It's a tough field at Eagle, and the first B feature we had to run in a long time. We ended up getting collected running in the lead and junked that race car, and we put another one together. I don't remember if it was the week after or 2 weeks later, but it was in the heat race. So one of the first corners I got upside down, and it was just wasn't a bad wreck really, but it was kind of a freak accident the way it landed, and it broke all the suspension and the rear end on the first rollover, and it ended up landing right on the frame rails, and all that inertia went right to my back, and I ended up fracturing my T3 and T4 vertebrae, which ended our year, and I've been recovering and feeling pretty good, and we're excited to start 2019.
Yeah, that accident on the second bounce, it kind of landed right on the tail of the car, right? You were facing almost straight up and down.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird wreck. It only rolled about 3 times. I mean, I've had a lot worse than that, but it just, the way it landed, it had no suspension. It was all broke off the car and landed right on the tail tank, right on the frame rails on the ground, and there was just no absorbing it.
Is there anything that you can do to the car, some sort of thing to the seat to be able to take that shock a little bit, or do you risk taking the feel out of the car?
It's not so much the feel. It's kind of it's just a scary accident, really, how it happened. I mean, we have all our safety. I mean, we're up on our safety stuff as much as we can. Mm-hmm. We have actually a plate welded in under the seat, which most guys don't have, to keep the rear end from coming up in an accident like that, hitting the bottom of the seat, which that wasn't the issue. It was just basically jumping from 10 feet in the air and landing flat on your bottom. You know, that's pretty much how it happened, and hopefully that never happens again. It was just a kind of a freak accident, and I don't think there was really any preventing it, really. So,
was that something you could feel right away, that there was definitely something wrong, or was it just kind of a nagging pain that eventually decided to go get looked at?
Oh, no, it was definitely right away. It knocked all the wind out of me, and I just had real sharp pain in my back. And I started getting out, because I always get out in a hurry so my wife doesn't worry about me. And I was getting out, and I was like, man, something's not right. So I got out, and they laid there and kind of looked at me, and I thought I was going to be all right. And I walked to the ambulance, and the ambulance drove me back to the trailer and talked to my dad and everybody in there, kind of telling them how I felt. And I thought I was going to be all right. Just one of the deals, tough it out. Mm-hmm. But But I started taking my shirt off, and I was like, man, it hurts raising my arms above my head. So we ended up going in, and first x-ray, they knew something was wrong. So then I went and seen a specialist and ended up having minor compound fracture or compression fractures to T3 and T4, which was basically just needed to take time to heal, so no racing. And I'd take some time off work. So it was kind of a rough deal, but luckily, thankfully for all the fans and stuff that helped raise money to get us through that tough time of not working. And it was greatly appreciated, and all the people that reached out and asked how I was doing. It's kind of overwhelming. So
yeah, the support that the fan base came through for you was just amazing.
Yeah, that's like one thing that dirt track racing is just awesome about. If anything happens to anybody or a crew member, like what happened to Tim, everyone come together and raise money for him, and everybody's looking out for him, checking up on him. You know, I went and visited Tim. We were both got hurt on the same night, so we spent a couple of nights. I went to his shop and we kind of talked and hung out, and he came down to my shop, talked and hung out, and it's just kind of a cool deal how everybody comes together and takes care of their racing family.
So how is the recovery coming? You said you're feeling pretty good. You're excited for 2019.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It took a while. I mean, I thought it would be something that'd heal a lot quicker than it did, but it was kind of something that just bothered me for a while, depending on how I moved and how I slept and stuff like that. But I'm feeling pretty good now. I've been back to work, and I think just getting back to work, just moving around again after you sit for 10 weeks not really doing much. So it kind of, you got to get all your muscles back going again. So I'm feeling good. I'm ready for next year. The wife's supporting me going back out next year, so I can't thank her for that. So it put her through a tough time. So
yeah, that had to be pretty scary
excited
for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I say not even scary, but now she's got to be there to help you when you're not able to get around and do these everyday things.
Yeah, luckily I had a lot of people help out. I had Dan Lau come over and mow my yard for me when I couldn't do none of that. So everybody helped as much as they could, and the auctions people did, and like the 50-50 they did at Eagle to raise money to pay some bills and stuff. It was awesome. So hopefully we don't have to go through any of that again, and we can have a good year and finish the year strong for once. So.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty good deal lined up for 2019.
Yeah, I'm real excited. We kind of just brought it to everybody's attention over during the race season. Rick Forbes messaged me on Facebook. I never met him. I've heard of him. Kind of knew who he was. He used to race midget. That's kind of what I knew about him. And he asked me what I thought about the 305 class, and I told him what I thought. I said I liked it. I said it's a great class. I said it's growing every year. It's super competitive. And thinking he was going to get into it, it was something he was wanting to get into. Mm-hmm. Well, then he asked if he'd be interested in me driving a car he owned, and I said, yeah, it'd be something I'd be interested in. We can talk about it at the end of the season once we got everything all done, and we can talk about it. And it ended up ending sooner and later, so we ended up talking about halfway through the year after my accident, and we got the ball rolling real quick. He went and he bought a nice car from Ryan Roberts, a complete car, and then he ordered a brand new motor from Speedway Motors Racing Engines. So pretty much everything that he has is exactly what I have, so it's real good stuff, and I'm excited, and he's excited to get the year started.
And your phone was cutting out a bit there, so I might have missed it. Is it a 305 or a 360, a 410?
It's a 305. We're just sticking with the 305 stuff around here. I mean, it's easier for us that way. I mean, with my family, it's easy to race close, and him too. I mean, he works nights usually, so it's kind of just easier for him to get racing around here, and it's more affordable. I mean, it's a lot easier to buy good 305 equipment than it is to go spend a bunch of money to have good 360 equipment. So. And that's what kind of the direction we're headed. So who knows where it'll be down the road, but that's what we're doing for now. So
yeah, the initial purchase is cheaper, and so is the maintenance.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's just more affordable. That's why the class has grown so much. I mean, I loved racing 360s, and it started dying out. And it got to the point, I mean, me and my dad, we're just blue-collar guys. We don't own businesses or anything like that, so it was getting hard for us to keep our motor program up with everybody else's, so that's why we ended up switching. So we won the points last year, and that was kind of my last straw. I said, okay, finally got that done, so we'll go ahead and switch.
Let me ask you this, a little bit off topic, but it kind of what we're just talking about here. I don't know a lot about sprint cars and race cars, and I know that they go fast and they cost a lot of money. But if everybody agrees that a 360 is just a little bit too expensive, why can't we get together and make a unified set of rules that will bring the cost down?
I don't know. The hardest part about that is you already have all these guys with the 360 stuff, the ASCS stuff that's legal. Mm-hmm. And I mean, in some parts of the country, it's doing really good, but around here, it's just it's slowly dying out. I mean, Dennis Parker, he's doing a heck of a job keeping it going with the Nebraska 360 Sprint Series, but like the race saver rules is just so strict.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really what the ASCS has. I mean, the 305 deal, they have a spec head you cannot touch. You can't do any porting to it, anything like that. The crank has to weigh a certain amount. You have to have, I mean, it's all low-budget stuff. I mean, it's a wet sump motor rather than a dry sump motor to save a bunch of money. And I mean, it's just all stuff that's to keep. I mean, you can spend money on a 305, but you can only get so much horsepower out of them because of the heads and all that.
Yeah.
So you're spending the money, you're basically buying better parts that's going to last longer.
So if we're all in agreement that, again, the 360s are a little bit too expensive and the class is dying out, isn't it better for those guys that have the expensive parts to go ahead and switch rather than not have a series to race at all?
Well, what you kind of see, I mean, you see some of the 360 guys are starting to buy 305s too.
Yeah.
So they can go run with, I mean, when they're not running their series, they can still keep racing. And I don't know, it's all if you can afford it or not. I mean, a lot of them guys can afford it. So, I mean, that's what they like doing. And it's a more, I guess you can say, elite class with higher horsepower and all that. But
so it's
the
not
305 deal.
It's not necessarily that the front of the pack is dying off. It's that the back of the pack is dying off.
Pretty much. And that's where a lot of the new 305 guys are coming from. And you're getting guys moving up from modifieds and other classes too because it's more affordable.
I see.
It's more appealing. I mean, you can get in a sprint car for a reasonable amount of money, you know, and you can spend $8,000 to $10,000 on a motor and have a competitive motor.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's something that, you know, I think a lot of sprint car drivers are interested in finding a solution, but it seems to be there's a delay or a disconnect in a conversation. But back to your 305 deal, and I apologize if I went off topic and whatever, diverted attention, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. But so what are you guys going to be doing this year as far as running? We know the Sprint Series in Nebraska is back. Are you planning on racing that as well as Eagle?
Well, kind of we don't have a schedule locked down yet, just kind of a little bit talking to Rick. He's coming down next weekend, we're going to work on the car, so hopefully we can kind of get something locked down on our schedule. But it kind of sounds we'll probably more run his car at Eagle. I think we're gonna try and do the whole Eagle deal, and then maybe I want to run the most or all of the Sprint Series shows probably with my car. And I know we want to go to Houston a couple times as long as they open back up, which sounds kind of like they are. And then I want to run the Front Row Challenge in Oskaloosa this year. I kind of just want to venture out a little bit, but still race weekly at Eagle and hit most of the Sprint Series shows. So
okay.
I'd really like to get me a Eagle Track Championship before I start slowing down. My boy got a go-kart this year, and he's going to start racing. So I got a few years left where I can go hard, or a couple, I guess, and it's just that thing's slipped away from me the last 3 years. We've been leading points every single year, and it's been weddings. I've had to miss 2 years. The first year I had to miss 2 races for weddings.
Oh.
You got married twice in one season?
I have too many friends, or I'm too nice to my friends, or something.
That's a problem I don't have. I never have had too many friends.
Yeah,
and then it was
I'm here.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, and then it was the same thing the next year. We were leading points again. I had another wedding I had to miss, so that just makes it tough. I mean, and then this year we were leading points again. We had the first accident and knocked us out, and then the second one knocked us out for good. So it's always something, but hopefully we'll get it one of these years.
What car are you going to be driving for Rick? What's the car number?
There'll be both matching cars. They'll be identical. That's all my regular sponsors on them.
Okay.
Orange, black, and white, like they always are. Rick's car is going to be number 95. That's the number he used to have when he raced. So that was his request, was to have 95 on the car. So that's what we're doing. And then my car will be the same 35.
You said your son's kind of getting into the go-kart racing a little bit. Does he help you with the race team and kind of working on the car?
Oh, he lives in the shop.
Yeah.
He's out there. Anytime me or any of the guys are over, he's out there.
Yeah.
So this was inevitable. Ryan King was kind enough to let Tate come over and drive his cage kart that his daughter has. And as soon as I let him do that, I knew I was in trouble. So it was a couple months later, we bought him one, and then they had that indoor race here in, when was it, December, into December, the Lancaster Event Center. And we took him there, and he did good, and he got faster every time he was out. So
was that hard
he's
to
already
watch?
asking when he can race again.
Was that hard to be the spectator father role?
It kind of was. I was excited. It's weird getting nervous, like, in that way and watching your son race. So, and he's 5, so talking to him about stuff's a little harder, you know. But he just has kind of a natural ability to do it. He's been driving stuff. He's been riding a pedal bike without training wheels since he was 3, so he's kind of been ahead of everybody on all that stuff. So
he's ahead of me.
He'll get going. He's doing good.
I think he's ahead of Roger Hayden, too. Doesn't Roger have training wheels on that bike he rides around in the pits?
I think he did, yeah.
That might have been from all the accidents he had during his racing career. All right, so you're going to be in the 95 and the 35, mostly the 95 for the Eagle Weekly stuff, and then trying to hit as many Sprint Series and Nebraska races. Any other races you got kind of circled on your schedule that we're not going to hold you to, but you're hoping to hit?
Like I said, I want to go to Houston a couple times. I've never been there. I want to go to Oskaloosa this year, do the front row challenge, and hopefully we can bring one of them cool belts he has home. That'd be something real cool to have hanging on the wall. So I just kind of want to do a couple different places I haven't normally been to. We might go to Cameron a few times. That's probably my favorite track. It's just kind of hard to get there on Fridays.
Yeah.
But it makes it tough for Saturdays, but get home at 2 a.m. and get the car ready to go. But now that we have 2 cars, it'd make it a little easier.
Right.
So,
what about Belleville?
So hopefully we can do that. It depends how I'm doing in Eagle Points, honestly.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind doing that, but if I'm in the points hunt, I probably won't go.
Okay. All right, man. Well, hey, it's great to talk to you. So glad you're back on the road to recovery and you're doing well. Wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you, probably March 30th at the is the Race Savers racing at that Rumble in the Bowling Ring at Eagle?
Yep, we're in Cameron March 29th and Eagle the 30th.
Okay. All right, so we'll see
those
you.
Will be our first 2 shows.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Can't wait to see you in the pits. Trevor Grossenbacher driving the 95 and the 35 throughout the area. Good luck this season, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh,
Thanks,
hey,
Trevor.
You know what? You got a big list of sponsors you got to thank for helping you out.
Oh, yes, I do. I got a bunch of them. So first and foremost, Rick Forbes for giving me the opportunity this year. So hopefully we can make the most of it. And then all my sponsors, WC South, Sports Bar, Lincoln with Nelson, Speedway Racing Engines, Speedway Shocks, Stop and Shop, Husker Diesel, True North Construction, Central Body Shop, Restore and Muscle Car, Rick Forbes, obviously, and then Skytop Towers. My wife for putting up with this chaos all summer long, and my son and my mom and dad, they don't miss a race, and my whole family. Couldn't do it without them, and Tyler Perry that helps turn the wrenches on the car and makes the decisions, and Scott, all the guys that help me out.
Hey, tell Rick I really like his magazine.
I will.
But
I'll do that.
That's all right. That's my jokes for the day. I'm done for the guys. I'm out of here, everybody.
and now you wondered why he doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, there you go. Nobody's ever wondered that.
Hey, it took me a second, but I got it.
Yeah, well, it took me longer than a second to think of it, which is probably why it wasn't that funny. Trevor, again, I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking with us. We look forward to seeing you at the racetrack soon, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. So, again, Trevor Grossenbacher in the number 35 for his own car, and then driving for Rick Forbes in the 95, the Forbes magazine.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know you could read, so I'm surprised you even knew what a magazine was.
It has pictures. All right, we're going to take a break. Mary Lenz driving the number 17 Sport Mod just around the corner, and then we will announce the season-long Pick'ems contest coming up on the front stretch.
Finding a home can be the most important decision in your life. It's the simple factors of neighborhood, garage size, the school district, and commute that get overlooked by most realtors. Those are the aspects that Jim Blazina has been focusing on since 1988. From rental properties to your forever home, the Racing Realtor will work hard to get you exactly what you're looking for, and he can help list your home for a speedy sale. Contact Jim Blazina today, 402-980-8400, or jblazina@npdodge.com.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 3, and it's time for another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Brought to you by Red Oak Fabrication, located in Red Oak, Iowa. Get your chassis powder coated today for just $275 if it's a bare frame. If you got to do some reworking or blasting, it's going to be a little bit more. You can get an estimate by giving Jordan a call today, 712-623-4911, or email him at jordanf@redoakfabrication.com. jordanf@redoakfabrication.com. Give them a call today for an estimate. $275 for a powder-coated frame that will absolutely do you right. This interview, we're sitting down with the most popular driver of the year in the Sport Mod division at Eagle Raceway, Mary Lenz, driver of the number 17. Only got to be about a part-time driver last year, Mary.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun.
The first part of the season had to have been a lot of fun for you. I know for me it was a lot of fun to watch you because the competition for the Sport Mod class is really stiff at Eagle Raceway, and you were holding your own for the first 4 or 5 weeks, and then you kind of got into a little bit of a fender bender.
Yeah, the beginning of it was awesome. I was really excited to try out the new car, and every race we got to run, we were top 5 or pretty darn close to it, and then about halfway through the season, it just didn't go very well. But what do? We just kind of looked at it and took it the way it was and sat back and watched from the stands and drank a lot. That's what I did.
So if you would have raced the whole year, you'd have been a lot more popular?
I don't know about that one.
But a good season, though. And what's the nickname for your car? Betty? Betsy?
Well, my last one was Betsy.
Okay. And now that you've got a new one, you've got a new nickname for her?
No, I haven't come up with one yet.
Oh, the season's only a couple of weeks away. We got to get going on this.
I slacked on that one.
But good spirits. I mean, I really enjoy kind of the story of you. You really do go out just to have a good time, and if you're competitive, that's awesome. And obviously, you want to be competitive. But if you happen to finish 6th, it's more about the fun you had in the pits with everybody and just kind of the experience of racing.
Yeah, me and Dad keep saying that we're just there to have fun, which deep down inside, I really just want to do good. But at the end of the night, whatever we finish, I'm happy with, as long as there's nothing terrible or bad that we need to fix. Flat tire, yeah, it sucks, but it's a flat tire.
A couple of weeks you came in, you had to do some body work, and you had to do some repairs.
Couple weeks? I think there was more than a couple weeks.
It's got to get tiring, though, to continuously have to kind of massage the car.
Yeah, I know Dad gets frustrated when we come in with some dents in it, but like the first night out is always the worst because it's so pretty and I don't want to mess it up, and then well, there it goes. Good, we're good for the rest of the season now.
How did you get to the Sport Mod division? I mean, were you the typical person that started go-karts, a little compact racing the things, or did you just jump right in that Sport Mod?
Nope, actually I didn't do go-karts at all. I had a go-kart in the just for at home.
Leisure cart.
Yep. And then four-wheeler. My dad actually raced for about 20 years, so I grew up watching him race.
So it was inbred, is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a weird way of putting it.
That was a very weird way, but
it got the job done.
Yeah. I started out in compacts and then ran that for a couple years, and then I wanted to move up, and we did.
Yeah, well, every racer, I don't care what you start in, every racer I've ever talked to in my life wants to go faster.
Yeah.
You can only go so fast in that compact. So.
Hey, they got pretty fast from when I started.
Well, you go to a bigger track, they go to Corning. They're real fast over Corning.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, any thoughts about moving up into the next class? Maybe move up to a modified one of these days?
I would like to be in a modified, but the money, you got to have the top-notch stuff to be competitive, which I would want to be competitive.
Yeah, I talked about how competitive it can be in that Sport Mod class. I mean, it's insane how tough it is in that modified class.
Yeah.
You know, you show up and you see Jordan Grabowski pull in and you're running for second. You see Mike Densberger roll up. Well, maybe I'm running for third. And then
the jet rolls in.
Maybe I'm running for fourth. And before you know it, I might be able to peak the top 10 and I've got a $30,000, $40,000 budget.
Yeah. I'm happy in Sport Mods. I'll stay in it unless somebody comes in with a lot of money and has an A-mod, and I'll hop in it.
It can be a fun class. My only issue with it is that you could destroy a lot of equipment pretty quickly.
True.
You know, with that class of drivers up in the modifieds, you're a little more trustworthy out on that track of what you're going to get when you approach a guy to go pass him or another car.
Yep. And yeah.
And you know, I don't want to talk bad about the sport mods. I do enjoy them. I think they've definitely done a lot for the sport. You know, with every good, there's a bad with a class.
Yeah, the only bad with sport mods is there are a lot of them, no matter where you go. We race at Beatrice, and sadly their car count isn't the best, but what they do have for cars, they're very competitive. There's no slouch by any means, which I enjoy racing there. It's smooth, it's fast. You can rely on all of them because they're all good drivers.
How long you been in the sport mods?
9 years? No, not 9. I've been together altogether 9 years racing. Started in 2011. Okay. Till now.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Again, 9 years. How many years in the sport mod? Probably
5.
Okay.
I think.
So
yeah,
it's about.
5,
I mean,
6.
like I was saying, you came on really strong there through the middle part of the season, just before that accident. That's got to be really disappointing. That, you know, it takes so much to get those cars honed in and to get your reaction time just right. And
yeah, it was pretty frustrating and upsetting. But like the start of the season, I was kind of babying the car just because I didn't want to destroy it, going right out of the bat, and I didn't know what it was going to do because the car that we had before was just so twisted and old, and it was done. And then I hopped in this new car, and it was like I told Dad, I got out of it, I was like, wow, this thing wants to turn. The other car, I had to make it do what I wanted it to do, but we made it work for quite a few years on that car. It was great.
There's your answer why I always laugh at why people get so good at a car and then sell it. Because it's usually so twisted by the end of the season they're ready to go.
That's what the guys are telling you. You know, Dan always gives them a hard time because, like Andrew Koziski says, well, the last 3 weeks of last year we won every week and then we sold that car. Why?
Yeah.
Why did you sell it, Andrew? Why did you?
Yeah.
Well, it was 2 years old and it had 70 or 80 nights on it. You know, well, that's a lot for a dirt late model. You know?
Well, we can't afford brand new stuff every year, so we buy used, whether like tires. We don't buy new tires. We buy used tires that the A-mods, they'll run one night and they'll sell them.
Well, now that you can grind tires, for years you couldn't grind tires.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody had to run new tires, and then they even started a class where you had to run used tires, and the guys would show up with new tires. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So last year, we're done with that. Good year, good building year. You're ready for 2019. What's your plans for 2019?
We don't really have a set plan. We're going to hit up the specials at the beginning of the year, like Beatrice, maybe McCool, I-80, and whoever else we find on the way. But we actually got a new car. Not brand new. It's new to us.
New to,
yeah. So we're going to have... we got like a new car. Yeah. We went and got a second car. So we have
really?
2 cars now.
Okay, so hold on. I'm getting the new and the new to us.
I know, yeah. We got 2 new cars to us. Yes.
Okay. They're still used cars, but they're 2 new cars to you.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I really need to name these so I can be like Betsy 1 and Betsy 2.
I need you to name them.
So is the car A last year's car?
Yes.
That's been fixed?
Yep.
Okay. And then added car B.
Yep.
Or A 2.0.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
So you're going to kind of bounce around. Are you planning on racing Beatrice weekly for points and then probably Ego weekly for points?
Yeah, most likely.
And then just see kind of where it goes?
Yeah.
That seems to be a lot of guys and gals' answers today is that we're just going to, the first 4 weeks, this is what we're going to do. If we happen to be in the front in the points, we'll stick with it. If we're falling back, then we'll kind of bounce around and try new things.
Yeah, we're all in the same mindset there. Like, once you start getting involved in points right away, it tends to go downhill real quick. So
Yeah. I saw some big off-season news for you.
Which one?
The getting engaged.
Yeah.
How long was that coming?
Finally. Well, we've been together for 7 years, going on 8.
Okay, well, that's fine. I've only been together with Sarah for 2, so she tells me I'm supposed to be proposing soon, and I'm like, no.
Oh.
Now we know the identity of driver of the second car.
I don't know about that one. He hot-lapped a car one time and smoked the wall, so.
Oh.
But he did pretty good. Okay. I was proud of him until he hit the wall, and then I was nervous. And
did you make him fix it?
That wasn't my car to fix.
Oh.
She was smart enough to let him hot lap somebody else's car. Well, why don't you jump in that one?
Does he help you with the race team much?
He does. Every once in a while, if I ask him, he'll come out.
He'll come down and help out a little bit. Is you going to make him get more involved now that there's a...
I've been trying for 7 years, but he helps out another racer. So
okay. Who's he help out?
Noonan's.
Okay. All right, then. That's fun stuff. Excited about it? Have you guys set a date, or is this going to be like a Pam and what's his name from The Office where they get engaged for 6 years?
No, that is not.
Okay.
I'm already knocking on 30, and I want to have kids sooner than later.
Oh.
2 years. It'll be October 17th of 2020.
That's a scary word, kids. That's a 4-letter word no one needs to be saying on the radio.
I love certain kids, and I'll love mine.
Yeah. My company's doing a bridal fair today. I got to be down there in just a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So it's go down to the Century. What is it now? The CHI Center. Is that what they're calling it now? And they're doing a big bridal fair. There's all different places you can spend your happy wedding money with.
Yeah, I've been.
Your dad's over here shaking his
I
head
know
like,
it.
Shut up, Dan.
He told us to go elope, and it's not happening. Nope, got a venue in.
Well, so
Roca, and
this is fun to kind of see the ladies' side of the whole thing.
Yeah,
because we talked to quite a few drivers about kids and marriage and that kind of stuff. So how much of the race budget is getting diverted into
none of it?
None of it.
Dad is not. It's me and the fiance paying for it all.
For the wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to see you back in the car in the 17. Can't wait to see you. I think your first race will probably be March 30th at Eagle.
Yeah.
Or are you gonna
Beatrice.
Beatrice has got one a week or two before that, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Frostbuster or whatever they call it. Spring Thaw. Something.
Spring Nationals.
We are less than 2 months away from that.
Yes.
How's the car come? Is it done?
Car A is done.
Okay.
It's ready.
Let's call it car Allen.
All right.
Or and then car B could be like Billy.
All right. Alan and Billy.
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
And when she has kids, she'll have twin boys, and she'll name them Allie and Billy.
Hey, at least they won't be like Alan and Aaron with the same, or Billy and
Yeah,
Bob.
don't do that. All right. There's a lot of sponsors that help you guys get up and down the road. Why don't you think a couple of them?
Yeah. Actually, well, the first one will be my dad. He's the main reason I'm out on the track. He's a lot of the reason I'm out on the track.
Isn't that awesome though? I mean, to think that someone gives up that much time, and for me, I'm a tightwad to give up money like that for a passion of yours.
Everyone's a tightwad until racing.
That's true. Until you go to the Speedway Motors open house.
Yep. Anybody wants to go on a trip, I'm like, no, but I'll buy this brand new race suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told a couple of my friends we're going to Mexico in June.
You'll love it.
And I said it's like $2,200, and one of them actually came back and said that's a new set of shocks.
You'll love Mexico. I've been there once.
Oh, I've been there 3 times. I'm excited to go back. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're.
But yeah, Dad's the main sponsor, but we do have Burroughs Track Real Estate out of Elmwood, Nebraska. He does give us money, but he helped us a lot with the holiday horsepower. He did a toy drive and got a bunch of toys and gave it to us, and it went towards that. So that was awesome. This year, he's been doing this a couple of years now, and this year was by far the biggest contribute from him. It was awesome.
Awesome.
And then I do have a new one that joined. They don't help us, but I'm a dog groomer, so I had to put it on the race car. They're called Paws Up Rescue. They're out of here in Nebraska. They just rescue dogs and foster dogs until they can find their forever home. So they jumped on last year. Chasey Mabel, they're out of Wisconsin. They're a band. Dad grew up with the bass player, and we help them, and he helps us.
Can we get him down here to play a concert for us?
Maybe pitch up some money and some drinks, and they might.
I'm sure Roger would pay up for them.
Yeah, he has a band at the end of the year all the time. We'll just substitute that band and bring this one.
Yeah.
And for friends, we have a bunch of friends that help us. Zach Hamilton, my mom and stepdad, and then Mary and Terry Brown. And have to thank my boss. She lets me get off whenever I want to go race. She's pretty. She's awesome.
Where's your grooming place at?
It's in Lincoln, in Havelock.
Okay.
Called Muddy Mutts.
I'm looking for one, but I'm over in Council Bluffs. So.
But yeah, well, we do have people from Omaha that drive all the way to Lincoln.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to take a guess with the name Muddy Mutts. You wash them too, don't you?
No, not in mud, yeah.
All right, Mary Lenz driving the number 17. Do you have a racing page, or is it just your personal page you keep everybody up to date with?
I do have a racing page.
Okay, it is?
Mary MT Motorsports, or you can just put in Mary Lenz, and it usually comes up.
Okay. Driving the number 17 Sportmont, you'll see her at Beatrice, then at Eagle, and then throughout the area. So good luck this season. I'll be in the pits rooting you on.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be giving you a hard time every time I see you.
Please do. Thanks a lot. We'll be back here on the front stretch to announce the season-long Pick'ems contest. You're not going to want to miss this on the front stretch.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around their professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 4, brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Got to say a big thank you to Chris and Eddie down at Quaker Steak and Lube, the owners of the joint. All the managers and the wait staff that helped us out last night. They're great about everything they do for us, turn on the race and letting us come down and have a few beers with our friends. So say a big thank you to Quaker Steak and Lube. And by the way, they did have chili on the menu last night, so you could enjoy a bowl of chili while watching the Chili Bowl. In turn number 4, the only thing we have left to do, we have to announce the official rules for the Pick'ems contest. So let's talk about the 2019 Pick'ems contest presented by Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners. They're a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. You can find out more truewealthpartners.com. The rules, if you are a part of the 2018 contest, this is pretty much the same. We haven't changed a thing. We felt like we've got a pretty good thing going on here. Fans seem to have a lot of fun with it. We've got a free contest that you can win some awesome prizes, which, by the way, when you were coming into the studio today, I was still mailing out prizes and getting things arranged. So,
yeah, I know. I was handing them out at the door.
So the Pick'ems contest presented by Rick Havenridge, here's the easiest thing. First thing, we can't say this enough. It is absolutely free. You don't pay for a thing.
So how much it cost?
Free $99.
Free?
Free. Absolutely free. It is free to join. All you have to do is create an account at NASCARpoolsonline.com.
Don't even send us a check.
And don't wait, by the way. Don't do this on February 17th. Rick, the guy who
18th.
the guy who runs the website urges people. This is a popular website. He services a lot of different leagues, and his servers get tasked with people trying to sign up and put in their picks on the day of the Daytona 500. So do not wait. That being said, you have until noon on the Daytona 500, February 17th, to get signed up for the Pick'ems contest. All you have to do is pick the driver you think is going to do great in that race. They don't necessarily have to win because this is the Daytona 500, and you've got only 36 to 40 drivers you can pick all year long. You can pick them a couple of different times, but you don't want to use a Jimmy Johnson or a Kyle Busch or a Brad Keselowski. Those are not my favorites to use at Daytona because I'm going to save Kyle Busch for Kansas because he's really, really good at Kansas, and that's more of an up-in-the-air kind of a race. I'm going to save Brad Keselowski for the road courses, and I'm going to save Jimmy Johnson for Texas or Charlotte.
I don't think you need to save Jimmy Johnson for anywhere.
That might be a good point. My point is you could only use these drivers 3 times in the entire season. When you've picked Jimmy Johnson 3 times, that's it. When you've picked Kevin Harvick 3 times, that's it. Martin Truex Jr. 3 times, and that's it. And it's 3 times over 36 races. We had a couple of contestants over the last couple of years since we've switched to the online contest that they've tried to use their picks, and we used to tell them, hey, that's your second pick in the regular season. You got to wait and hold on to your pick. It's 36 races and 3 picks. There's no warning that you've used them 2, 3, 4 times.
The computer tells you. It won't let you make the guy the 4th time.
There's a little parenthesis next to it every time you've picked them, so you do know how many times you've picked them, and you got to pace them out pretty well because we had the guy who was leading the contest for so long, going into the playoffs. had no Kevin Harvick, no Martin Truex Jr., no Kyle Busch, no Chase Elliott. He'd used all of his good picks getting into the playoffs and having this big lead that when we did the playoff reset, like they used to do in the NASCAR Cup Series, he was out of great picks, and he fell pretty quickly. I think he fell down to 10th, and I think he finished in the 8th or 9th area. But those that saved their good picks for the last 10 races of the season were the ones that really battled for that championship.
Well, and that strategy doesn't always work because the year before, that's the strategy I was using.
Yeah.
And I was trying to save and make sure I had all those guys for at least one more race, and then I ended up 17th and wasn't in the playoffs. So, yeah, that can bite you too. You need a little bit of luck.
So here's the way it works. Get yourself signed up, NASCARpoolsonline.com. Actually, the easiest way to do it is to send us an email, and then I'll send you an invite to the site. You create your username and password, you log into the site, you find our contest, and you join it for absolutely free. Did I mention that it's free? Have we mentioned that it's free yet?
Free.
Free. Get into the contest. You must submit your pick before the posted time each race weekend. Now, some people I know that submit their pick at the very beginning of the season and they put them all in. They don't even worry about it because there's things that come up and you forget to put your pick in and then you missed out. And you overthink it, and sometimes you talk yourself out of a good finishing position. So you can put your picks in all at the beginning of the year if you want to. But you must have your pick put in before the posted race time. Any contestant that misses more than 4 picks in the first 26 races of the regular season will be ineligible for the playoffs and will have to compete for 17th on back. Contestants can pick the driver a maximum of 3 times in the entire NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series schedule. This does not include the Clash races at Daytona or the All-Star race. Those are not points-paying races, so we do not award for those races. Contestants will receive the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series Championship driver points for the driver that they picked each race weekend. We use the 2017 NASCAR Monster Energy points system that is currently used in the 2019 season. We do not include bonus playoff points for winning a stage. So when you win a stage and you get your 10 championship points, you also receive a bonus playoff point. Those bonus playoff points don't factor into our contest. It's only the points you get awarded for the championship driver points. Contestants must be 18 years or older in order to sign up for the contest and must be a legal U.S. resident. Other than that, we have the playoff format, which I can email over to you guys, and you can get that all signed up. It's free, again, to join. And by the way, Dirk, I've got a few extra tiebreakers in here. I added a few extra tiebreakers because
all we needed was one more tiebreaker.
I thought, you know what? I never thought I was going to need 5 tiebreakers. I'm adding a 6th and a 7th. I'll email over to you the entire rules and contest. Just send us an email, frontstretchradio@gmail.com, or you can sign up for the contest at NASCARpoolsonline.com. Once again, thanks to Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners for bringing us the Pick'ems contest presented by Rick Havenridge. Wealth Partners is a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. You can find out more at truewealthpartners.com.
And the same website that you use, you go in when we run our 5-week contest.
Yep.
And you make your picks for that there. And that's where the tiebreakers are very important in just a 5-week contest. And we've had to use them before. And even last year with 4 tiebreakers, that wasn't enough. So now we've got more. That's what Dan was alluding to earlier. So those are the contests like our Crewman for a Day where you're getting garage passes to Kansas or Iowa Speedway. All that kind of stuff is all done on this website. So you might as well have fun and play all year. At the end, we do give out a cool trophy at the Daytona party for last year's winner, and then you get where you finished. You get in pecking order, and first place gets a trophy, but they get to pick something out of our prize box. It's not a vault anymore. We'll be honest; it's just in a box. And
don't tell them that.
Then second place gets to pick something, then third place, and so on. And that's what he was talking about earlier. We were giving out.
Think of the prizes that we gave out this year, though. Autographed Brad Sweet and Casey Kane hero cards. It was a Brad Sweet hero card signed by Brad Sweet and Casey Kane.
A Thomas Weeks front stretch hat.
Right. We had 4 of those Brad Sweet autographed hero cards. Those went like hotcakes. We had, thanks to you and your wheeling and dealing, we had Goodyear tires that we gave away, which, by the way, we'll see if we can get more when we're down in Kansas in May and give more of those away. Sammy Swindell autographed autographed hero cards, Jack Dover, McKenna Haase, Spencer Boyd autographed hero cards.
We've gotten some Hoosier hats that we got some autographs on.
And you camped out it was at Kansas for the May race. You camped out right where the Cup Series drivers got off the truck from when they were doing driver introductions, and you got autographed hero cards from
I had Harvick, I had Truex, I
Johnson,
had Jimmy Johnson. I mean, I had the top 10.
Chase Elliott.
Kyle Busch disappeared, and I couldn't find him. But I had about everybody else in the top 10.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of really good prizes, and it was all for free. I mean, we can't say that enough because Rick Havenridge ponies up and helps us out with that, and we're able to offer this contest for free thanks to Rick. Let's end it for today. We've gone a little bit long. We do appreciate everybody joining us. Thanks so much to Trevor Grossenbacher and Mary Lenz for joining us today. Still to come next weekend, Sport Mod driver Kyle Trout, who is sponsored by Joe's Karting, will join us in turn number 1. Jordan Grabowski has said, I apologize, good sir. I was busy and wasn't able to get back to you, so he will join us in turn number 2. And we're going to work on getting Spencer Boyd to come back on the show. We were trying to get him today, but schedules just didn't work out quite right. We weren't able to get in connection, so we'll bounce him over for next weekend. And then, Dirk, we are just a couple of weeks away from the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and like I said, we're working on some other stuff. We've got a few things, irons in the fire, so to speak, that we're trying to put together, and we're trying to get around to the tracks and get some more track champions on. I think it's nice to give them credit where credit is due for their good season and find out what they're doing in the future. So look forward to some of that coming up here yet. And
by the way, let me say this, because we've had drivers that have asked the show before. If you are a driver in the area, Dirk and I are only 2 people. And we only get around to a couple of tracks and know so many drivers. There are way more drivers out there than we have even seen or know of. If you want to get on the show, there is no criteria for getting on the show. We're here to promote the local dirt racers. Send us an email, frontstretchradio@gmail.com. Send us a message on the Front Stretch Facebook page. We'll be glad to get you on the show and to talk about your sponsors and your career and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, we'll do what we can. Sometimes, time just doesn't permit it if you're trying to get on by a certain time for some event. Because we do work with a lot of stuff. I mean, we work like with the Nebraska Gambler. We try and get those guys on for PR. We try and do any PR we can for the swamp meets and stuff. It's that time of the year where we got a bunch of those coming up. We do what we can, and for anybody that's going to have their car in the auto show coming up in March, we're going to try and get back down there. We had a good time down there last year. We sat and did interviews for 5 hours.
That was fun.
And we're going to try and set that up again this year and see if that'll work.
Bring a cooler of water this time. I got a little parched. All right, we got to say it again. Thank you to everybody for joining us. Thanks again to Joe's Karting, Quaker Steak and Lube, and Red Oak Fabrication for sponsoring the show. And thank you to Jim Blazina Real Estate for coming back on board, sponsoring a couple more shows in 2019. If you want to get more information, search Jim Blazina Real Estate, or you can see him at the racetrack. He drives the number 3 Sport Mod, the Racing Realtor. Thanks a lot, Jim, for all your support. And thank you to everybody for joining us on the show. That's going to do it for Dirk and I. We hope you enjoy your Sunday. Please be safe out there. And we'll talk to you again next weekend. This has been The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you white knuckle racing by the river bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
The official watering hole of the Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.